I just want to talk hoops, bro. I swear, I just want to talk hoops.
What he
You
do?
know what I mean? Just make sure it's at a nice tone, though, fam, because I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
want to hear the high treble voice, you know?
that
I
bullshit
under-
they did
That's
last
what's
night,
up.
I'm fuck with. All right,
I'm fucking with you, bro. What's good?
bro,
Yo, you can't
bro.
give
First question, can I ask you, as a playing for the Warriors, right?
Hmm.
Draymond, after being with him like day in and day out, and like, how did you feel he elevated you from the defensive end? And the second part is, do you feel the media underrates him?
Yeah.
I think Draymond, from a defensive perspective, having somebody alongside you, because defense is a team sport. You know, we got to be on one string. Like Draymond's a great individual defender, but he wouldn't be as great if he didn't have four other guys that knew he, that was on the same page. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So his IQ is really in his effort. He makes second and third efforts. You know, it's hard to do that in the NBA game. Make second and third efforts all game. He may close off the paint, then close out to the 3 point line, then still come block a shot. Like he just was his IQ and his hustle really set him apart from everybody
Do you
else.
think that like? Do you think that like even not just you, but like it seems with like Harrison Barnes and like what's his name? Crap, Andrew Wiggins.
Hmm.
Like they're guards with so much defensive potential. They're guards with like so much length and like they can move their feet. Like it, it's become almost a pattern that like he makes them better. Not and that's not to
I,
disrespect you or anything. Obviously,
s-
you're
I
a, you're
say,
you're you're a great defender yourself, but it's like what is it about him that you think that just like being on the court
yeah,
with him helps you
I
out?
say, I mean, first of all, you gotta look at these dudes' tools. Look at Andrew Wiggins. How tall is he? About 6'7",
Yeah,
Yeah.
he like
six
yeah, he's
eight.
like six six.
How
Like
how long is his arms? Probably about 6'9". Let's say 6'10", 6'11" wingspan, and he
let
got
me look it
super
up right
athletic.
quick.
He already has the tools to be a great defender. He can slide his feet. He can contest shots. Draymond didn't do that for him. You get what I'm
Yeah, of
saying?
course.
But as far as like, all right, we're gonna switch this pick and roll, this possession, and I guard just so you got to learn how to guard the fours now, box out now. So like Draymond put you in positions where you got to kind of fend for yourself. So he going because he might have to go help somebody else, and you got to cover for him. So it's just like he putting you in positions that you probably normally wouldn't be in because he's such a versatile defender, and it forces you to do other things. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Uh,
that's just the Warriors defense in general because a lot of switching, a lot of small ball, a lot of scheming. Like so, if we throw it in a post, or if a team throw it in a post, and the guy who threw it in, they like starting to cut to the other side. We used to like run and double sometimes. So we like do little tricks like that. You know what I'm saying? But it was mainly like make sure we all on the same page, and that's with any great defensive team. Okay, see, we did the same things. We had Perk, so you got those one guys that like focus in on each possession on trying to figure it out. But Draymond, one of those guys that like he's so versatile, force you to do other shit too.
Mm.
so
If that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? I know
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that
was
makes
off on a tangent right there, but if that makes sense.
No, 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 no. This is the coolest shit ever. Like, this is the coolest shit ever. Like, nah.
so what I another question I wanted to know is like, from how do you balance, and do you feel like throughout the years, what would you say, how did you learn to elevate others while still being the most efficient scorer in history?
It's really about getting out of people's way. I try to figure out. I don't want to step on anybody's toes out there. So like, how can I? My game is like, how can I get my shit off in the midst of like all of this chaos that's going on? Guys that maybe only could drive to the rim, or guys that just want to shoot, or guys that need the ball in their hands. Like, how can I still get my shit off? So like fast break layups, backdoor cuts, like catching shoes, like quick shots for me is I feel like quick offense is the reason why I can kind of like sustain that efficiency. Like just knowing how to score, like knowing where the ball is gonna come, knowing the offense and shit. Like I just kind of figured that out. But I try not to get in people's way because I play with a lot of players that are shit. They need to rock too. You know what I'm saying? So I got to figure out how I can get it, still get mines off while they got it.
Yeah, I've always felt that that's one of your biggest. That's one of your biggest strengths. Like, no disrespect to other players, but like, you're
Yeah, you
like,
got to realize how I started playing though, because I was mainly a catch and shoot player. In college, I didn't dribble much because I was like a stretch big. You know what I'm saying? My first year in the league, I was playing like Rip Hamilton coming off pin down, so I didn't dribble much. So I learned how to play off of point guards and catch and shoot and just move off the ball and stuff like that. And then I started developing the handle and the pick and
Najee, can I
roll.
ask a question?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Do you feel like, do you feel like being forced in that role as a youngin, like, affected, like, not necessarily, because I've heard you say in interviews that like it helped your shooting or whatever, but like it
hmm
affected it, like it almost made your, like, you feel like your bag could be deeper if you like weren't put in that position at a young age, because like growing up,
My bag, I
I'm
feel
kind
like
of
my
tall.
bag is deep though. What you mean? Like how deep you want it to get?
Hey yo, it's one of the deepest ever. I'm not I'm
Yeah,
not
I think
saying
I
that.
think
Hey
this. But I'm saying I give. So you saying me playing like off the ball and playing not really handling it early? Um, I ain't got it. I ain't developed as much. What you mean?
or like or like do you ever feel like, damn, if I had as much freedom as like some of these young niggas in like AAU,
I
I
see.
could
I
have
see.
been I could have been
I see.
like even deadlier. Like, I'm already where I
Nah,
am.
I
I
wouldn't
could
say
have
that.
been better.
Nah, I think I progressed at a perfect rate. Cause you gotta look at it. I was the tallest guy on my teams at all times, but I was also the skinniest. So a lot of coaches didn't know where to put me at. But I was also running up and down the court faster than big. So it's like, do I put him at the wing? Do I put him underneath? Do I put him? Do I put where do I put this dude? So first I was a shot blocker when I was 8, 9, and I was running the floor, and then I developed my jump shot. So I feel like I developed at a perfect pace. And then once I want to say 2013 is when I felt like my off the ball game was like where I wanted it to be. I mean my
The year
off the
before your
dribble
rookie
game.
year.
The year before that, 2012, 2013 season, I
Okay.
felt like my ball handler was where I wanted it to be.
Mr. KD, can I ask you a question, if you don't mind?
Mr. KD, please don't. Come on,
Don't
man.
call him Mr. TJ. Come
Yo,
on.
Mr. KD. Yo,
Mr.
stop.
Kevin Durant, my bad.
No, that
Can I ask you a question about like who is maybe some of like the greatest players you've ever watched? Like what defenders are like the greatest defenders you've ever watched? Like not even just played against,
ever.
just watched.
It's a good question. The guys that I liked, Scotty. I felt like Scotty Pippen was one of those guys that, as a kid, I never seen somebody with those type of arms move like that. His arms so long, and he was moving so fast. It felt like he was guarding point guards and centers back in the '90s. That was crazy to me. Mookie Blaylock was one of those ones because he led the league in steals a couple times. Uh, then the shot blockers really were impressive, like the Kembe and Mark Eaton, guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Dudes I didn't play against, but I can kind of tell they were tough. Dennis Rodmans, shit like that.
Do
So
you feel
like
like
what
you're underrated as a do you feel like you're underrated as a defender? Like, you
Who's
don't
rating though? Who doing these ratings though?
like the not to call anybody out, because there's clearly media members in here, but like a lot of the
Yeah.
media members
Who,
just
Fox
like
Sports.
type, yeah.
yeah, so I don't really know. I don't really look at. I don't
like
really.
I'll be real, the Shannon Sharps of the world, the guys who call you like they call you out on television shows and
Yeah,
all
they
that.
don't really understand basketball like they should. So it's like I don't really look at it as if I'm underrated at all at anything, or overrated or none of that shit. It's just
Just going out there
no.
and
I feel
hooping.
like I feel like I can hold my own on defense for sure.
So may I ask you like where do you rank the like David Robinsons, Hakeem Olajuwons of the world?
I was having this talk the other day. I feel like Hakeem is
Hey.
in the run to be the best player ever.
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
when
he has
you
an
really
argument,
like
I feel like.
figure out, look at his body type and how he played and his moves and his skill and shit. Like I haven't, nobody else has been like that since. And so you had bigs like him, David Robinson, Pat Ewing, Shaq, all playing at the same time. Karl Malone's. It was so many great centers back then. I know them battles was crazy.
Yeah, like the I don't know. This is a little older than that, but like the Kareem, I mean the Kareem, the Kareem versus Bill Walton type of battles. may I ask you, like, who's the
You
greatest?
watched? You was watching that?
Yeah, I mean, we
What
can.
do you mean?
It's on
Yeah, no.
YouTube.
Yeah,
It's
it's
on
on
YouTube.
YouTube. You got like YouTube. It's like
You,
77. You
you
got
really
like
going
Nate
back
Irving.
that deep to
Yeah,
watch
I
I mean,
mean,
yeah,
porn?
it's
well,
if you
yeah,
like,
because it's fun to
you
do.
like
Nah,
ball, you
Sometimes I
watch
like to.
everything.
I don't watch like all the game, but when I go back, I might
yeah,
watch
yeah.
like a Bill Walton game or to see how he was like a great spacer at his time for his time in his era.
Yeah, he could
Nah,
shoot
I
mid range.
really appreciate that. Nah, because those dudes back then, you don't realize they was shooters. Like they probably could have been stretch bigs if they had 3 point lines back then.
Yeah,
Those guys have been cut.
guys like Walt Frazier.
Willis
He was
Reed, Bob McAdoo.
Yeah, Willis
Yeah,
Reed, Bob
Bob
McAdoo,
McAdoo was
and
tough.
then you got like point guards that could shoot back then, like Walt Frazier. If he played in the modern era, he'd be like a 30 point, 3 point shooter or something around
I
that
can't believe
range.
this. I can't believe
Yeah.
this. Yo, Whitey, chill. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, no, for real. Now I mean, you making a lot of sense because a lot of those dudes back then had supreme skill. Everybody was to the midi. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and like
why.
one
That's
thing,
why. Like,
Yo,
I hate when people be like, '60s players. All they're just like plumbers. All like
Yeah,
doing
and
like
yeah,
they
one
didn't
like
have
accomplished
they didn't
stuff.
have the gear, they didn't have the gear to like the modern
Not
players
even
have
just
to
that. Like
get their body in shape.
the rules
they
disincent
were in
guys'
shape.
creativity. Like they
yeah,
can't
because you
just
had guys
dribble
like
the ball.
Mr. like Wilt Chamberlain, who was like a great
Oh,
defender and like
yeah,
one of the
freak of
best,
nature.
probably the greatest athlete in
And he was
basketball
jumping in
history.
Converses too. It was in Converses. It wasn't in like he
Yeah.
wasn't he wasn't playing in the shoes they have today.
Like I feel like a lot of the
I
people
think
we
we
talk.
just got more creativity nowadays because we watched them and they had
Yeah,
built the
because
Yeah,
foundation
it's
for
like
us.
still
just the
You know
rules
what
and the skill
I'm saying?
set. Like you had smart players like Frazier who was using the rules to his advantage
yeah,
with like all the trapping in like the 70s to get
yeah. But I feel
steals.
like if guys like from back then, if they would have been playing today, they would have been picking up on these rules, like on the stuff that people before them did. So I don't think like a lot of
But I
people
don't
say
know
like,
if
oh,
there's
in
any
today's
reason to
game they
do
won't be as
that.
good.
Like, can't we just? Why can't we just appreciate them for what they were in their time instead of like trying
Yeah,
to?
This is the
I hate
truth.
time machine arguments. Like, I
yeah.
feel
Just
It's
like a
gonna
lot
be
appreciate.
of people.
so hard to win. It's gonna be so hard to figure that out, man.
Hey,
If they can play
Katie,
today's game or not.
they might have already
Yo,
asked you this question, but like, what are some players you'd say like based your game off of, like from like growing up watching players hoop? Like another
yeah,
who's another big
I
guy that
wouldn't
could shoot
say,
too.
I wouldn't say I tried to. I mean, like I watched a lot of guys, but um, I wouldn't say I was trying to emulate, their what they do. It was just like I wanted to play how they play. I wanted to dominate a game like a T Mac did. That was one of the guys I had to watch and
Yeah.
duplicate games. Not necessarily his skill level and what he was doing, his moves or whatever, but like the game that I was playing in that night, my coach would tell me I had to dominate like T Mac did.
Uh
You
huh.
know what I'm saying? From controlling the game because Mac was handling, posting, shooting threes, getting dimes, rebounding. So my coach was like, "Well, you
Yeah.
have to do everything too." You get what I'm saying? So that's how I
Yeah.
looked at NBA
T Mac.
players. I
T Mac
wanted
Yo,
to
was one of those
match
guys.
their production in my games. You get what I'm
yo,
saying?
I want to ask a question. So Katie,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
throughout your,
yeah. So,
oh, all right.
KD, what I another question I wanted to ask, which for years I've been wondering, I from watching you a lot, sometimes it seems like shorter players that can get under you, like say like Chris Paul from I think it was 2014 when you guys played the Clippers in the playoffs when you were still in OKC, and like sometimes like a Tony Allen. How do you handle guys and like that just like to be feisty and get under you at times?
Well, a lot of those guys, they was like Chris Paul that game. No, I mean, he was guard. They would guard me with three players. Like he'd front me, and then there's another guy coming from behind. Like so,
Yeah,
in that case, just take on the double team and move the basketball. But I mean, he wasn't guarding me 1-on-1. He may have
yeah, of
got a
course.
steal on me. He did get a steal on me because I tried to cross in front of him. But like,
That's
I
good.
wasn't like deterred by his 1-on-1 defense. But they did a good job of like
Hey,
getting up under me, then bringing some extra help just so I wouldn't just ISO him.
Hey, yo,
But little guys, I try to post. I try to move them, hit them with screens, um, draw the doubles if I'm in closer to the rim. So I don't know, just try to play the game, but try not to dribble too much around them though, because I am taller.
so I have a question, Kay. Like throughout your tenure with the Warriors, right? I feel like Draymond kind of elevated all his guys on defense. So like, how do you feel about like
he
Draymond's
already talked
defensive
about
team?
that. He answered.
Yeah, we
No,
already
I'm just
talked
asking
about.
about like his defensive
He answered the question
communication.
already.
He literally, and that's literally the first question
Oh,
he answered.
No,
That's the
they
I
first.
did
wasn't
answer
here for
that.
that.
It's all right. I'm
You
Yeah,
got
it's
just letting
fine.
you know.
somebody screen recorded it.
Hey, Ron, Malcolm, do y'all want to ask a question? Y'all are speaking. I haven't asked nothing yet.
Oh yeah, I was really just listening, getting all that. But I know you because Durant, you're a pretty non-narrative guy, so you don't really care about narrative and stuff. So people have been killing Ben Simmons in the media and everything. So what have you been saying about that? Everybody knows Ben is an animal, but the media's killing them. He's saying his confidence is down. But at the end of the day, a lot of people
Yeah,
think he's going to bounce back. So what do you really think about that whole situation with Ben in the media?
yeah. I think he gonna bounce back. I mean, he ain't got no choice but to bounce back. The whole team won't have no choice but to bounce back. But
Facts.
I mean, I don't like how people be killing him like that. Everybody, it's a joke to everybody. To them, it's a joke, but it's real life to us over here. So it's like we understand the grind. You know what I mean? Everybody is looking to get better at every off season. It's just, and that's just what it is for Ben. When he
Yeah,
come back next year,
yeah.
keep grinding. I don't think it's the end of the world because he didn't play well or people were making jokes about him. Just keep his
Like
head down. Keep.
I
Yeah.
I at times have been like
Uh, I think.
not crit-
Can I ask a question, please? All right. Bro.
I'm sorry.
Go
Chill,
ahead.
chill.
Uh,
Nerd, go ahead first. In class, you
Oh,
can go.
I was gonna
all
say
right.
that like
So, you
I
go
thought
ahead,
you said
nerd.
I thought
No, you go ahead. Eli.
you called me nerd. Uh, I was gonna say that I at
Mhm.
times have been like not critical of you, but I've made like jokes about you just that are purely based on basketball, and like
Like
sometimes
what
I'll be
jokes?
like I'll make a joke about Katie without a playmaker, and it'll be like Kendrick Perkins dribbling or something, and it'll be
My God.
completely jokes because you can hoop without a playmaker. It's just jokes, but sometimes I'll be like,
Mhm.
damn, if it was thousands of trolls out there fucking shitting on me, like I would feel a certain type of way, but it's like at the same time, it's not a personal attack. So like, do you like understand that subsection of culture and like
Yeah, I understand it, but my question is like, would you say that to me or Ben Simmons if you were in front of us?
if I was in front of you
Like,
and I
would you
had
make
like
that joke like in front of us? Like, if we were talking, would you just make that joke?
out of the blue, no, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So it's
guess it
just like,
depends.
well,
Like if we talking like how we're talking right now and it's just a conversation, like I might
exactly.
make the joke, but not like it wouldn't be malicious. You know what
Not
I'm saying?
like you would do it on Twitter. Like,
It
not
wouldn't be
what
with
you
like
just.
malicious intent.
No, 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 no,
Exactly.
no. It's because I've never said anything about players that's
Yeah,
like so crazy to where it wouldn't like it's something I'd say with my
I've
teammates.
seen what
Like
you said, man.
if I
It's
if
nothing
I
bad.
was
I'm
like
just,
It's nothing bad.
like
I'm just saying,
damn
a lot
bro,
of people say stuff on Twitter, which, like you said, on social media, and it may be a joke, and I understand that. But I know if people will get in front of me or want to talk to me about the game of basketball, they'll be respectful enough to not,
of course.
try to try to get under my skin. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So like, so that's
Kate,
why I get it. I understand it.
Katie,
yeah,
I got a question. Like, in OKC, it felt like sometimes like teams could like trap you and whatever, and it felt like you wouldn't really know how to like pass get rid of the ball out of traps that well, and sometimes you turn it over and stuff. But when you got to Golden State, it seemed like you got better as a passer. So like in 2019, you see like you were hitting dimes a lot better than you were in like OKC and whatever. So like I just want to know like how was that process of you like developing as a passer and a playmaker and stuff like that from like
Hey,
OKC to
why do you, I think I have like
State.
a build off of that. Like, Katie, how do you shape your game to fit with other players so fluidly? Like the way you just like got into the warrior system so good. I just want to know what was the
All
thought
right,
process for like fitting with other players and molding your game that way.
Yeah,
I'm gonna answer the first question about the assist. Like, I averaged by the time it was 2013, I averaged 4.5 assists a game, and from
yeah,
there, I've been averaging no less than that. So
yeah.
I would
I don't.
say around that time is when I started seeing the floor a little slower than it was than before. Like when you have a scorer's mentality, first thing you think when you catch the ball is like, all right, how can I score? Well, I started to like shift my thinking on like how can I get people involved and shift the floor a bit before I go attack. So that helped. That changed about 2013, and now with that approach, you put me in different offenses, and I started to understand the offense. Like in Golden State, I'm like, all right, this where the hits are going to be. This where the guys are going to be at. When I catch the ball in the post, I know exactly what's going to happen. So just learning offenses and slowing down a bit, and shifting that mentality is probably what would help.
Yeah.
KG, can I ask you like a question? So like, who do you think was like the smartest player you've ever played with, like just overall?
I think. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are smart. I mean, when it comes to IQ, I can't just name a few guys. I feel like every starter on good teams that
Yeah, you
I've
gotta
been on was smart.
Yeah, but
know.
guys like Harden, Curry, Draymond.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
What
I felt like
separates like
Andre
what separates
Iguodala.
those guys
I feel
from
like
IQ from like the not trying to be disrespectful from like the Reggie Jacksons of the world? Like what
Hey, come
separates
on,
their
man.
well,
IQ?
Reggie
just the
Jackson
tap.
just went off.
I mean, I feel like Reggie Jackson knows just as much as any other player, but the talent separates. Everybody. Like
Mhm.
your skill level separates, your body type separates. But I think a lot of guys in the league, when you in this shit every day, like we in it, like, and you've been in the league for so long, you done seen every scheme, you done seen every play, you done seen the evolution of the league. So the IQ thing is just knowing who you are and how that can fit into a team, and just knowing your sets on defense and offense and your memory. You got to have a memory while you're out there too. So like, there's a lot of shit that, I mean, that IQ thing is broader than just a guy saying that guy's smart at the game. There's a lot of shit that factor into it too.
Hey, or Najee, you want to ask a question, or can I get one in?
Wait, can I ask a
Yeah.
question?
Wait. I ask him. Hey, KD. So, as a Nets fan, this is what I want to know because I'm pretty sure it'll never be on video. What are those ones like? You, Kyrie, are hard to have play like three dribble one and one shot ones. Like, what are those like? Even if it's not on camera, I just want to know like what are those like, man? Because I would like, what I would do to be there and just watch it live one day. Like,
Yeah.
I can only, bro.
Last
Like,
summer, man, Kyrie got a lot of ones in, and I was doing a lot of cooking of him, like really destroying him one on one. But James we ain't get it in just yet, probably after the Olympics and stuff. But me and Kyrie, we had some nice battles. I won majority of them because I'm just, supreme at what I do. You know what I'm saying? But Kyrie definitely challenged me. When I was coming back from my Achilles, though, having to guard somebody like Kyrie in the workout, whereas he just creative with unlimited dribbles. It was definitely some battles for sure. But I'm gonna definitely get that W from him.
Yeah.
But
okay,
I
well,
wanted to say that like growing up, you and Kobe were
What just?
what just
It
happened?
says everyone got muted. What happened?
Uh, it's
Like,
it's alright.
Najee.
go ahead. Y'all can talk now.
Oh,
Hello.
Yeah, it's
go
good
ahead,
now.
Classy.
So I wanted to say like growing up, you and Kobe were my favorite players of all time. So I just want to know like how was it like to be in the same like USA locker rooms as him, and like the overall
Man,
experience, man.
Kobe was. I can't even really describe the type of competitor. It's just like he was always in it. Like every time you see him, it felt like he was locked in on the next game. But uh, what was cool about that being in the same locker room with him is that like I competed against him like that same playoffs and when he won the championship too. So we had like a different connection compared to a lot of other guys because he was I played against him on that journey. So it was like he was his aura was just it's like a godlike figure. You know what I'm saying? Like you see somebody in the flesh who scored 81 points in an NBA game. It's hard to even speak around him. But he was open and he was always trying to teach and help the younger generation out. And you see it now. Everybody's been influenced by him.
Yeah. All
Uh,
right. Well,
Najee, can I get a question? Can I get a question?
all right. First,
Go
I'll
ahead.
ask after you.
I got two more and then I'm about to be out.
All
All
right.
right.
So do you feel like, since this is one of your last questions, I wanted to get this one in at first, but I wanted to ease into the convo. Do you feel like certain people, like within the media, like purposely, like they don't speak about like actual ball? Because like I know a lot of people who talk so much about basketball. If I was to ask them what's the Iverson
Mhm.
play, they couldn't tell me. If I was to ask them what pick and roll defense are the Knicks running on Trae Young, they wouldn't say hedge. They would be like, I don't know. Like, and
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like, not, no offense to Stephen A, or no offense to the Kendrick Perkins of the world. But it's like there's no active attempt to educate people on basketball on more than like a surface level. It's all very narrative driven, surface level,
Hmm.
like speaking.
Yeah, like
Like
people don't know about. Yeah.
There's a lot of people with platforms though that's speaking on the game, teaching people the game the right way, and I think everybody plays a part in this shit. Like our league wouldn't be as big without the Stephen A's and the Shannon Sharps and like our game wouldn't be that big because it's driving more attention around the